I'm going to go ahead and live on Facebook because we are a few minutes behind. Do, do, do.
On the group side. Make sure people will find me.
Oh, I know.
I'm pretty sure everybody in the group is yeah. This is almost like that show with the cop and the
Alrighty, we are live on my Facebook. Woohoo! Yay! All right, so I want to introduce myself. My name is Ashley Rose. If you don't know who I am an elemental witch. I'm an energy healer. I am a mala maker. I do tarot cards. I've been introducing myself as many because I have so many things under my under my what do I do energetically list. I'm also a duality coach. So I'm really, really excited for this month's series of events. I've been posting them on my group, but Zoom and Facebook are not getting along anymore. So this is now going to my professional/personal page. And a couple of days ago, made a graphic that talked about the entity clearing of Malvern Manor. I'm with Travis, who has a paranormal business, and he has been investigating Malvern Manor for years, right?
Oh
Been
yeah,
going there
almost
for
2 years. Yeah.
right? All right. So we're gonna sit here and talk about what's gonna be coming up tomorrow and every Saturday up until July, I believe 13th, with the exception of June 22nd, because they have an event there. And we're going to talk about the process and talk about what Malvern Manor and the history of it. So I have my laptop open. I'll be monitoring the comments. So Travis, I'll be letting you know if there's any questions for you. Feel free to the audience, feel free to drop any comments, questions, anything you want to ask about it. We're super excited about this. So I'm going to go ahead and let Travis introduce himself. Travis, thanks for coming.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, hi, I'm Travis. Um, Mostly I'm a paranormal investigator. I do a lot of live streams and videos to kind of share everything. I also build equipment. So I make basically scanning radios. We'd call them like a Frank's box. So it'll scan randomly and then you can pick out words basically from that. And I also make REM pods. So they basically make a small electromagnetic field, and then if something gets close to them, they'll beep. I'm sure a lot of people have seen them if you've ever watched like the paranormal shows. Yeah. But I use a lot of things like oddities and like cigarette packs or just different trigger objects to make these things a little more palatable to like spirits and yeah. And instead of just a weird electronic box, but yeah. Um,
That's
but
really
yeah,
cool.
I've been paranormal investigating 3 years, like hardcore now. I've been doing it all my life. I've been into the paranormal and the weird since I was a young kid. So yeah, I have a long history in like shamanism and Wiccan type stuff, and then it just evolved into yeah, I like weird stuff, so I'm a paranormal investigator.
It's not weird, it's there. It's
Yeah. Oh,
there.
weird is not always bad. That's a good. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I have a comment that someone is trying to say that they can't see the video.
Oh, no worries.
Great. How long have you been making how long
I
have you
mean,
been making your equipment?
Uh, oh geez, I think almost 2 years. Yeah, because I originally started. I mean, I've always been a maker and just made things. For the last 10 years, I've been flying FPV drones. So I'd build my own drones, and then I decided to start doing like live stream paranormal investigations. And I looked into the equipment, and some of it they want a lot of money for. And I was like, well, I can build that myself. And so to save money, I started building my own equipment. And then just being the maker, the curious mind that I am, I wanted to understand how it worked so that when I'm doing an investigation, I know how it works so I can debunk things or I can say that's weird. So but yeah, about 2 years.
Right. Well, that's really cool. We could probably talk an entire hour about how did you find out? How did you, because I'm the same way. I like to know and understand how things are working. Just like the concept of energy, there's always a balance of what's going on. And spirits are something that I've always been connected as well. I shut it down at one point in time in my life due to fear because I didn't understand. And like you, I have a history of being a paranormal investigator as well, only I was the kid that would go to them. I was a part of Indiana Ghost Trackers out of Indiana. It was new and upcoming, oh gosh, probably 15, 20 years ago. And I was the 12-year-old kid that like hung around and they were always like, hey, go to the center. Let's see if we can catch any photos, like any orbs, anything that we, because I mean, and at that time we learned that a lot of times the spirits are drawn to a younger energy. So my dad actually joined me on those, and we did that for a handful of years. And that investigations are wild. You see all kinds of stuff on investigations.
Oh
So
yeah. I mean, I
um,
mine goes back. I was doing urban exploring before that since the 90s, so it kind of just melded into that too. Yeah.
right, right. So talk to me about Malvern Manor. Tell me all about it.
All right. So Malvern Manor. Let's see. Yeah. I got to remember my spiel. I give tours now to help Josh out. So yeah.
All right, so
um,
it's a place that does tours now because of how much activity it is.
yeah. So they've been doing tours and overnight investigations. It's an old building. It was the third building built in Malvern, Iowa. I think back in it was I forget the name of what it was when it was a hotel, but it was built in 1860, and it became basically the town hotel and like the meeting place. They'd hold like weddings there. The main entryway was kind of like a parlor for the gentlemen to play their card games and smoke cigars. And they'd also have like traveling doctors that came out from like Omaha, Council Bluffs area, and they'd like travel through. But it was just a big hub because it was right on the main rail line that connected the west to the east, basically. So let's see, and then it was a hotel from 1860 until about the 1950s. Really long run. It had like a restaurant towards the later end of that, like in the back, and then it finally shut down as a hotel and became basically a nursing home. Um, the nursing home ran from well, they added on after that to make the nursing home bigger, and that ran from the 50s until about the 80s. And then around the 80s, the state came in and said that the hallways weren't big enough. Half the people had to walk up the crazy stairs that you've probably seen in my videos, and they
Yeah.
were like, "Yeah, old people can't do that," so they shut down the nursing home. And then from the 80s till about I think 2006, 2012, somewhere in there, it was kind of like it was a halfway house slash asylum. But it's a small town, so it wasn't like what you would think they would add or bring people that were alcoholics, people with schizophrenia to the whole gamut, like people that were just down on their luck. It wasn't like it was only for crazy people or what quote unquote, but yeah.
Right. It
And
just a
then
lot of low vibration people,
yeah,
essentially.
and then after that, I think Josh and his partner basically bought it 10 years ago and turned it into what it is now, which is just a place to investigate and, you know, see what happens with the paranormal. They rent it out. You can pay to like for an overnight investigation, and then on the weekends they have day tours. So yeah.
Right. So, I know when we have had our conversations before, Josh being the owner, he kind of just lets anything go there, right? Like anybody
Oh
can
yeah.
kind of do whatever they want. So that's kind of I find that really interesting because at most places they're pretty adamant that things, spirits do not get disturbed, so to speak. So I find it interesting that anybody plus their mom and dog could come in and just say whatever they want, do whatever they want in there as long as they don't destroy the property, which opens things up for so much more energy to float around.
Oh
So
yeah.
tell me about what you have experienced at Malvern Manor.
Well, yeah. Like Josh is he's a big name in the paranormal world, and I think why we've become really good friends is because we think the same. He's very open to things, so he's not like yeah, like most places won't let you use a Ouija board or certain things like that. Um, but he's open minded, so he's a perfect fit with me, I guess. um, but as for things that have happened there, I mean the whole gamut from just cat balls going off. I've caught EVPs and like actual disembodied voices on live streams where I've left the camera and like went to the bathroom and you'll actually hear people talking when I'm the only one there, which is really weird.
Right.
um, One of the most not disturbing, but the craziest events I've seen is we were there in the I want to say the dizzy hallway or the bloody hallway is what we call it. I was there with my friend Justin and his ex-girlfriend, and it was about 2:30 at night. The moon was coming in through the one of the windows, and I walked down the hallway to just kind of check to see like if our equipment down the hallway was still on. And I saw basically the moonlight was coming through the door and shining on the opposite wall. And I saw a head, like a shadow of a head, walk across the doorway on that wall. And I basically crapped my pants and was like, wait, because at the time it was only us, and yeah.
Who's
But I
this
mean,
floating head?
yeah, it was the first time I've seen like an actual shadow, like
Right.
something physical in it. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of the stuff I don't actually catch because I'm kind of oblivious sometimes. Yeah, my wife's like, yeah. But that's why I live stream and make videos, so other people can help me. But I mean, I've had some weird stuff happen there.
Right.
Oh yeah, the first time we actually went 3 years ago, we went. My wife and I were, or Bree, yeah, we're walking into the nurses' station into where they kept the oxygen, and we actually heard a growl between, like I heard it from behind me and she heard it in front of her, and yeah, it was like right between us. Yeah.
Um, I can't imagine. So what, as your expertise, what all do you think is there? Like, if you had to place a number on how many spirits are there, how many entities, like, what would you even classify the growl as?
Yeah,
Make it easy, positive, negative. How much negative is there? How much positive is there? How many encounters have you had? Because I know I've heard you talk about a couple of different spirits, and then of course we'll get to the one
yeah.
here in a little bit.
Let's see, it'd be I want to say 4 or 5. I think there's 4 or 5 main spirits there, not including the one. Um, I think a lot of the things that happen there are residual. They're just kind of things playing back that aren't actually intelligent. Lately, too, I don't know if it's me because I've been building equipment and things are kind of searching me out. So I don't know if it's that or if it's just the fact that it was a hotel for so long. And I've noticed lately being close to like the rail lines or places that were hotels seem to have spirits coming in, as in like they, and I don't know if that's residual or if that's intelligent spirits traveling like I think they do. And then yeah, the one I think the one I like I said earlier, I we have a theory it may have been an old caretaker. There's also theories that it's something else, but yeah, he showed up later on. I don't know how many years ago, a couple years ago, and then yeah.
Right. So, just to kind of clarify, because we do have a question. Ooh. Okay, so entities. As I have learned what they are, is entities are stronger than spirits, whereas we have our soul, our spirit within the body, and when we die, they either stay or they move on. So you would say that there's 4 or 5 main spirits that are there, plus whatever else is lingering around. The residual energy is memories that have been ingrained into the space that happen and play over and over again that has their own energy. So it's not necessarily anything that is, it may be frightening to see, but it's not something that's going to harm someone because it's
Oh
just
yeah.
residual energy. But as far as entities, they are more, I don't want to say demonic related. The average person who doesn't really understand would probably dub them as that because we have high vibrational energies, low vibrational energies. Entities are low vibrational entities that are or energies that are stronger than spirits. Most of the time, they're not very nice. They're a pain in the ass. They disrupt lots of things. Um, some dark, dark, dark entities. The stories that we've heard, like Amityville Horror, some of the other stories, I can't think of their name, but where you hear of someone who all of a sudden the behavior shifts and then they kill off their family. That is usually caused by an entity. And what's interesting about that is in the afterlife, the entity stays attached to that spirit. Regardless, they stay together until something releases that. So let's talk about whether or not the one is really an entity or not. What is your thoughts on that? What's your version of what an entity is?
So I agree with you for the most part when it comes to that. I don't think that anything at Malvern is inherently evil. Like I've been to some crazy dark places, and like I've never gotten that feeling at Malvern. Some people will disagree with me, and because people have claimed to be scratched or pushed, but I don't think that's something evil like you would think. But yeah, I mean, the one is a weird case just because I think he might be an entity, but then I also think he might be something pretending to be an entity because he's told me a number of times that he's a demon or that he's evil, and I just say no, you're not because he hasn't really done anything but talk. He's not like yeah.
Yeah, so Joe is asking what kind of entity is it and can it attach itself to anyone? So have you heard of anyone who's been there in the past that have made claims that the one has followed them home, or does the one pretty much primarily stay at Malvern?
For the most part, I've never had anything follow me. I do have a friend, Rob B3, who has he had someone follow him from Malvern, but it was a case of it was more that thing was trying to give him a message type of deal.
Interesting.
I don't think it was the one though. I don't think it was the one. But I personally don't know a lot of people that have had anything follow them from Malvern's. That's why, like, I generally think it's a good place. That's why I let Kinley, my daughter, go there because it's not, yeah, things don't seem to follow you from there. Yeah.
Right, right. Um, so that question has been answered. Joe also asked if whether or not the one has ever given anyone a name other than the one.
And yeah, I've been working on that for 2 years now. The one he teases me and he tries to act like he's going to tell me and then he doesn't. He has said a number of times he doesn't like me. He claims that I'm protected, so he doesn't like me being around or talking to me. For a good, I want to say a month or two earlier this spring, he basically shut everything down anytime I entered the building. Um, I semi apologized to him, and then things were able to talk to me again. But yeah, he's never given us a name. He just says one, or I'm the one, and he'll like have slight conversations. But anytime, I mean, that's part of why I was wanting to do this too, is maybe to see if we can get him to give us a name or figure out, what he is or who he is.
Right. Now in your recording, because I posted it on my feed, I didn't I'm hard of hearing, so sometimes I have a hard time hearing. I know that there was the female spirit that came out and said that she wanted to leave. She didn't want to
Yeah.
be there anymore. Did the one actually tell you that he wanted to leave or be healed?
From what I can remember, I'm pretty sure it was the one saying it. The thing is, though, I don't know if he was saying it in a genuine manner, like he was saying, "Yeah, I want to," or if he was being like tricky and just saying it to say, "Well, let's see if you can actually do anything," or kind of being a jerk about it.
Right.
But yeah,
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. And I know that you've said that other people have come to the house and tried to bless it, tried to heal it. And I actually got to thinking about that today. I started thinking because there's lots of people who want to try, and I feel I think it's great that they want to do that. But I think there's also a level of like belief in it that of whether they really can. And I've sat with this all day thinking about, going through my own, like if I have any doubts about this or if I have any concerns about this. I don't have any concerns about anything coming through technology, which we know entities can, sometimes spirits can, which I'll tell you about the dream that I had. Um, um, but it came to me. I was like, I wonder if the people who actually blessed the house really believed that they were blessing the house, or if they were just hoping that the house would be blessed. So that was something that kind of crossed my mind today, and I feel really good about being able to go in and assess and join you as you're doing the tour tomorrow and getting everything started. I know we kind of talked about the fact that there are lots of tours. It is a bit of a moneymaker for Josh. I totally respect that and understand that. So my plan is that I will only clear what wants to leave.
yeah,
Is that fair?
oh yeah. And I've talked to Josh about it, and
Perfect.
he's on board. And then like tomorrow, you'll be able to talk to him too. So, but yeah,
Awesome. Awesome. So we've got some questions coming in. Why do you think the female spirit is unable to leave? Is the one preventing any of the spirits from leaving? What are your thoughts?
well, that particular case, that female spirit, I've never heard before. And that's, I don't know, like that, I don't know if that was somebody seeking me out because I put that offer out onto the table. And
Right.
like I've been building equipment, so things seem to be kind of searching me out, or I have like a beacon now that's like, hey, I can talk to you type of deal.
Right.
So I don't know if she was something from that coming to just seek me out. The one though, I don't know if he can control the other spirit. I mean, it seems like some of the other spirits, I mean, when he shows up, you'll hear like the one or he's coming, and then all the other spirits they'll just shut down, they'll go quiet. So he has some type of control over them. Whether he can keep them there or not, I don't know. A lot of the spirits that are there they had mental difficulties in life, so we don't know if they just don't know they can leave or if they have the mental capacity to get that far, or if they just don't want to leave because it was their home most of their life. So
Right.
yeah, but I don't know if he can like keep them there, but he definitely has some form of control over them to where he can tell them, just shut everything down. So yeah.
Right. So my understanding of energy is that especially when there's one that is stronger and well, it's kind of like when you're around someone who is an energy sucker. You hear the energy vampires. He strikes me just listening to the videos and being able to feel out the energy of it. He feels like the type of energy that is siphoning from the other spirits, not allowing them to talk. But again, they are their own spirit, and I believe they do have power. But just like anyone in this world, people get quiet and don't believe in their own abilities. So the lady that spoke, I know you said that you'd never heard her before. I want to clarify, in the video, it was when you were talking about if anyone wanted to be cleansed or healed, and that's when she spoke up. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were just talking about this prior. So I know that Bree has said that you have had dreams about Malvern when you feel like they've called you out. I know we hadn't actually talked about that, but I wanted to share my experience with everyone on Facebook and with you again, Travis, that when we started talking about this and planning this out, I had a dream a couple of days after that where it was very odd. When I get dreams and messages, I tend to get them in like video clips or images. And I wound up had my phone in my hand and it said Haunted Davis on the phone. Like it was a video chat of some kind. And I was like, oh, but instinctively I knew that it had to do with Malvern Manor. So I was like, okay, hello. And then I was transported where I could see a woman who was, she had a red hair and she did not look like she was mentally all together because she had like a baby where she was putting food in its mouth. And this was a baby that was doing tummy time, not a baby that could eat food. And I didn't feel any emotion other than my own motherly emotion to be like, oh, you should probably not do that. But it also struck me as this is probably why she's here in Malvern. And I remember looking at the wall, and it was a wall that you had showed me. I think I explained it to Brie. I don't remember if I described to her like the coloration of it, but I know it was very dimly lit. It seemed like it was darker, and it was very interesting. And when I was going through the pictures of Malvern, I recognized the wall, and I felt like Malvern was trying to reach out to me. And when you asked that question, you saw the call light go on, and I asked you, I clarified with you that you were standing right by that room when you were
Yeah.
asking, and it was a female saying, I want to leave. So, how trippy is that? I have goosebumps.
Yeah.
So, super crazy. Um, but I'm so excited about this, and I want to talk about a little bit about the process of what we kind of decided we were going to do because we want to really come at this from a scientific standpoint. So tomorrow it is going to be you and Josh. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah.
Is anyone else going to be joining you?
No, it'll just be me and Josh. We talked about, there might be day tours that come in.
Okay.
Don't know though. It's kind of hit or miss. Sometimes people show up. A lot of times nobody shows up on for day tours. But yeah, it'll be me and
Okay.
Josh definitely, and that should be it for the most part.
Okay, so if there's anyone else there, I can't guarantee what the outcome will be because I'm not cleansing them. But the process of what I want to do for tomorrow is I actually want to clear you and Josh from having any entity attachments to you and make sure that the interaction that you're having at the household has nothing to really do with you other than the fact that maybe they're seeking you out because they're familiar with you. But I want to make sure that there's nothing, no negativity, no entities that are actually around you influencing the house and kind of siphoning this energy. So the following Saturday after that, you guys, well, tomorrow we'll do that. You guys will go through, we'll do our documentation, see how it goes. I'm so excited. The following Saturday, I'm going to clear your equipment. If people don't know, I know you probably know this. Sometimes entities and negative things and spirits can get attached to objects. They can come through our technology, they can come through our laptops, they can come through any of that stuff. That's how people get addicted to phones and other things. But I want to clear everybody's equipment. So it'll be cell phones, laptops, spirit boxes, any stuff that you're using. And then document and see how that goes. So first time you'll be cleared, second time will be the equipment. The third time, that's going to be June 22nd. There's a craft fair that time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to think about this a little bit because I want to try to make this as scientific as possible. I thought the third time that you guys go in, I actually do just a healing of the house, not a clearing, but just kind of, well, I take that back. Let me rephrase. I want to clear the energy from the craft fair, not the spirits, but I want to clear out because there's going to be like hundreds of people going through that place. Go
Yeah.
ahead and clear it at that point. That way, that's all gone. See how that goes. See if there's anything different. And then the final tour where you guys will be going through is when we will ask the one, as well as any other spirits that are there, if they want to be cleared. And then I'll clear them in the process of being there. And then the final like chat that we have is, did it work? What was the outcome? What happened after each time, we did a clearing? How is it going, So how does that sound for you?
Oh no, that sounds great. Yeah. And like I'm gonna do or start out all of this into basically the kitchen area and the main area where all the teams kind of position themselves and sleep because it's kind of like a neutral area. I mean, the spirits can still come there. It's the kitchen area. They still, yeah. But I figured it would be like a neutral area, and then it can, yeah.
Perfect.
Then, yeah, we can just, it's a neutral area, I guess. Yeah.
All right. So we'll start in the neutral area and then we'll go through. Now, the other thing I want to ask you about is, do you believe that Malvern has any portals there?
Yes, yeah, I think there's at least one. I don't know if there's more. There's a room that I call the Dizzy Room that I believe has a portal in it. It's got a door in it that we don't know where the door came from. But that room I've had two voices coming over simultaneously on my radio, which has never happened and kind of not possible, but they were talking over each other, and it was only when I was near that door. But yeah, I think that door is a portal. But
Well, that makes a lot of sense because I know that you and I have kind of talked a little bit about various timelines happening.
yeah,
So, we talked about the possibility of whether or not there was two different things going on at the same time, but in different timelines, because it didn't sound like they were talking to each other, but just over each other.
yeah,
So, I want to be very specific about this clearing because again, I know that we don't want to clear everything totally. But I wanted to give the option that if you wanted me to clear certain timelines, I could, because my intention, especially for the entity and for the spirits, it's going to be twofold. It's going to be if the one wants to be healed because he seems to have like this desire to control, and then if he wants to just be able to move on, I can also do every timeline for that entity and those spirits. That way they can completely be released and let go and move on to what they need to move on to. So I want to make sure that that is okay with you.
oh yeah,
That way I'm not messing anything up for Josh.
oh yeah, oh yeah. And I mean, ultimately, that would be up to Josh. So like I said, we can talk to him tomorrow too. But yeah, I mean, I'm personally game for anything, but I'm the kind of guy that just throws things at the wall and sees what sticks. Sometimes when it comes to this, so yeah. But
That's
yeah,
fair. That's fair because it is different. Energy and spirits, it's a whole different ball game. I feel like because you're walking into the unknown and it's almost like walking into a fairy tale world where what you think isn't real is absolutely real, and that's the thing that I find really interesting about just the spiritual realm and even the spirits that are there. So it makes me wonder what do they experience? Do they experience each other, or are they by themselves just living their life on repeat? And then it's hard. People don't realize that when a spirit and an entity is talking, it takes so much energy out of the area. They're draining it from you. They're draining it from anyone else that's there. They're draining it from the equipment. That's why sometimes equipment dies. That's why sometimes it gets super cold because they're trying to like suck the energy in to communicate. So I have a really deep appreciation for for what you do, and just for Malvern in general. I know there's a lot of history there.
oh yeah. Oh well,
So,
thank you.
Joe is asking if you've ever used holy water that has been blessed by a priest. I'm assuming, has anyone used holy water there?
I haven't. There is a doll that is in Josh's office that it has holy water from the Vatican. It's never been actually like sprayed or used anywhere. It's just basically the doll's in a case, and then there's a rosary and holy water on the case to keep the doll in. um, yeah,
So whose doll is this? Does it
we
belong to Malvern?
no, someone brought it. I don't know exactly where it came. The doll likes to jump off of the shelves though. And one night there was a team investigating, and the doll is it's a porcelain doll, so its head is a lot heavier than its body. So when it
Right.
falls, you'd think or the head would hit first. But this time it dove off and then fell and landed on its feet and broke its feet. Um, don't know how it happened, but yeah,
Creepy.
the doll is just yeah, it's a little weird. For a while there, a theory was the one came from the doll, but I don't think the one came from the doll.
Huh.
But yeah, Josh is also has a phobia of dolls. He doesn't like dolls, so he
Wow.
it's in a case and it's protected by yeah, um, holy water and a rosary from the Pope. So yeah,
Wow.
but yeah, there's I mean, like you said before, we don't have really any issue with people doing things there for the most part within reason. So I don't know if other people have used holy water or what's been going on, but yeah.
Right. So I wanted to pull some cards. I'm a tarot reader, and I wanted to just see um what the divine was going to say about how this is going to go and what's going to be the outcome of it. Are you ready?
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right, we'll see how this goes. The first card that comes up is the Three of Swords. This is a bit of a painful card. I really feel like when we go to clear this out, there's going to be some expected pain. So be prepared for memories, things come up. I know that you're empathic, so you may experience some things from the house. I'll probably feel the same way because we're going to be connected to this together. The next card that comes up is the Five of Cups here. So we have an owl that's focusing on the losses instead of the positive. Um, I think it's important that during this process, we look at the positives of what's going on in the house, see what has been cleared, what hasn't been cleared, how everything is going. And then the card afterwards is the Tower card in reverse. So I'm not sure what the outcome is going to be because normally when it's reverse, means that nothing is really going to change. But however, since it's the Tower card, a change is going to happen regardless. So um, I feel like looking at it, things are going to be shook up, but I don't know if it's going to be the outcome that we're looking for. And I was thinking about doing a read earlier, and for some reason, I thought to myself, we're going to get the Devil card. The last card that I pulled was the Devil card. Of course, it's not bad. It's the Devil card is not the devil, but what it means though is that there's going to be a release of some behavior. So I'm almost wondering through this clearing if you're going to see some of the residual energy disappear. So I am really excited about it. So I really hope that we can do some good and release the spirits that want to go home. And you guys can continue to do your investigations, and you're able to get some new energy that kind of comes up because I know you talked about the one stifling some of the other energy.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
mean that's the main reason I guess Josh is okay with this and like I am is because yeah, like I said, when the one shows up, he just kind of like shuts everything down. So
Yeah.
like we don't want him to be there if he's harming the other spirits or just, exhibiting control over them and not letting them be happy or do their thing. So yeah.
Right. Well, I think that's perfect. That's a perfect reason to try to go ahead and see if we can convince the one to take a step back and be healed and go move on. So, do you have anything else that you want to share about Malvern or about your experiences? I think the one thing we didn't talk about was I think the Shadow Man. There's someone in the
Oh yeah.
hallway.
Yeah, the Shadow Man, I mean he was a bigger guy. He was mostly harmless. He did accidentally kill somebody, which ended him up into Malvern. But that didn't happen at the building. he was an older gentleman, but he was mute and had mental issues, so he couldn't really think. But he would chase the nurses down the shadow hallway to the kitchen, and but that's basically what people think it is. There's been reports of a shadow basically flying down the hallway at people and scaring them out of the building. Um, I haven't seen it, but I've it's been caught on my stream. Mom Mod actually, or my wife Bree actually found or saw the silhouette of the Shadow Man in the doorway on one of my streams. And previously to that, a friend of mine had also caught a picture of the same exact silhouetted shadow in the same general area. So yeah, but I don't. I mean, I think he might be mostly residual, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, you never know. So I'm curious, what's the scariest thing that you've seen happen there?
Happened there.
Like spiritual.
Personally, it would be that the shadow that I saw, but Josh he's had a scream, like he's heard a scream come from one of the back hallways. And then my friend he said he got scratched in the attic, so that would be. And then I also have another friend during an investigation. Her husband and her were in the Shadowman hallway, and she actually got her head slammed against the wall. We don't know if that
Wow.
was the one. I don't think that was the Shadow Man, but it might have been the one. I don't know. That was Carrie. But yeah, personally though, I haven't seen a whole lot. I mean, and I'm there a lot, so I don't know. I've been to other places that are a lot scarier and a lot more uncomfortable. So yeah.
Yeah. I remember times in Indiana, like we went to they called it the insane asylum, and that one was rough because they had all of the I don't want catacombs comes to mind, but I remember going into the basement where it was a multi-level building, and down in the basement though was, I mean, you really had to hunch over, and they had locked multiple patients down there, and I mean, it was barely big enough for them to even sit up, like like you're in the fetal position almost, and they would keep patients down there, and there were also coffins down there, and it was very like frightening, very scary. And feeling Malvern out though, it feels more sad more than anything for me,
Oh
where
yeah.
there just seems like there's, because there's women, there's men there. It just seems like there's just a lot of helplessness, hopelessness there. And I'm hoping that, some of the spirits will be able to speak up and say that they want to leave and they're ready to move on, but I don't want to take away all of the financial gains from it.
Oh yeah.
So, but it does sound like though I'm intrigued by the train, the spirits that are coming from the train that are coming in, because I know you also said that Malvern used to be a brothel at one point in time. Yes.
Well, I think I don't know. There's no substantial evidence that it was, but I mean it was the main hotel on a main rail line. So yeah, I mean a lot of things
Mm,
happen there. Yeah.
right.
I mean
um,
there's a theory that the Velisca axe murder house, it's a very famous house. There's a theory, well, my personal theory is that the preacher was the murderer that killed the family at the axe murder house. But he was a traveling preacher. So there's a theory that after the night that he committed the murder, he stayed at Malvern trying to make his escape from, yeah, because it's only 30 minutes away,
right.
and it would
Did
be
you
the main,
ever
yeah.
have you ever like caught anything on film or felt anything that made you like that indicated? I think you did.
Yeah.
Someone thought it was the preacher, right?
Yeah, and I've had a couple of investigations where like because there's a doll from Velisca there that Johnny Hauser left, and then but using that I've gotten like Preacher and I've gotten Velisca over my radios. I know Josh has done he did an experiment or a big documentary experience or experiment to see if the two places were connected. Um, and I can't remember what his name was, but somebody last year did a Black Mirror experiment to see if the Black Mirrors were connected. and that was kind of inspired, I think, from Villisca and Malvern being connected. So
It's really strange. So they really do try to like do different experiments and just try to check to see, what's floating around, which I mean, ultimately at the end of the day, when that's happening, especially if it's by people that maybe don't have a complete understanding of what they're doing, it tends to open up so much.
oh
So
yeah,
much. So new portals get opened up, new entities, spirits come and show up, and
yeah.
um so so how are you feeling about tomorrow?
I'm feeling good. I mean, I'm excited.
I am
It's
too. I'm
my
super
first day
excited.
off of the year, so yeah.
You're gonna spend it ghost hunting.
Yeah.
Woohoo! All right, so let's talk about what time does this start? You're in Central Time, I'm in Eastern Time, so it is almost 8 o'clock my time. That means it's almost 7 o'clock your time.
Yep.
Yes. All right, so what time are you starting tomorrow?
Um, so I'll get there around noon, probably around 12 o'clock. So that'll be 1 o'clock your time.
All right,
So yeah, it'll be shortly after that. I'll get there and then talk to Josh and set everything up, and then yeah.
perfect. I can go ahead and send you a Zoom link. Are you comfortable with doing a Zoom link like this, or do you think we need to do a different method for tomorrow?
Oh no, this should be fine.
Perfect.
I might live stream part of it. I don't know yet. The main thing is though I'm going to be filming it. So basically, I just need like your face on the computer screen, so it's like people can actually see when I make the actual video. So yeah, anything.
Right.
But I'm not like secretive or anything. So if you wanted to stream it too, that's yeah. But yeah.
I am not tech savvy. So if you want to give me a link so I can live stream it, totally. Otherwise, whatever you come up with, send it to me and I'll upload it for everybody to watch. So, oh, well, I mean, I could live stream Zoom like this on my Facebook if you want. How long are you planning on being there tomorrow?
Well, the team show up at 4, so we have are basically are free to do anything from noon to 4 without having any interruptions. So yeah.
Perfect. All right. So, do you want me to live stream all of it? Or let me ask you this. When you're there, are your active times like the entire time, or do you have like, how they say they have like the witching hour at 3 a.m.? Do you find that there's a time that is more active for you when you're there on Saturdays?
No, Malvern's like that. There's no real time that things pick up or don't pick up. It's yeah.
All right, perfect. All right, so we will discuss if you want me to live Zoom it the entire time. I absolutely can, or we can do some video clips of the things that do happen because I know sometimes you do that as well. Um,
Oh yeah, and then yeah, the ultimate goal is to make like a docu series kind of deal. So yeah, and I don't know if Josh will be filming. He probably will be too, but yeah, so it'll
right,
be. After it's all said and done too, I'll share the links and videos with you to share out.
perfect, perfect. Well, do me a favor. I really, really appreciate you doing this, and I'm so glad that we were able to do this. Not just from a spiritual aspect, but from a scientific aspect. When this is done and over with, hop onto my page and leave all of your links for your business, any videos that you think that my audience needs to watch so that they can kind of get a feel of what Malvern is. And then tomorrow we can just talk more about each of the rooms and kind of, what we know, what we don't know. I will open myself up to also see what I feel. I will be reinforcing my boundaries here so that nothing can come through my technology and invade my space. But I will open myself up to see what I can channel, what I feel, to try to help also with the investigation any way that I can.
Okay, oh, it sounds great. Yeah,
Perfect. All right, Travis, I really appreciate you so much, and I'm so excited. And we will connect tomorrow before you start. We'll go ahead and live stream this on my Facebook, and then we'll do this every Saturday except for the 22nd, and this will end on the 13th. So again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming here and talking about what's going to be going on tomorrow so the audience can see it. Let me know if there's anything else you need from me between now and then. And I will bid you adieu.
No,
Okay.
thank you. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Travis. I'm going to go ahead and stop our live stream.
Awesome.
And we should be good. Yeah, we're done on that. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Where's it at?
I think you should live stream a little, for sure.
Stop recording.